All right, everybody. The other day, a Rand Paul staffer was stabbed half to death in Metro D.C. Now, we're assuming the possibility of a political motive. We're also assuming the possibility that based on D.C.'s crime rates, it could literally have been nothing more than a random stabbing. You see, probably about a dozen other people were stabbed half to death that day as well. There's a reason that I wouldn't want to move to D.C. Even the President of the United States, can't walk around at night or anything like that. Nixon used to drive his wife around at night with another dude in the backseat making out with her, and other presidents. JFK used to slip his rope sometimes in order to go dick a bimbo. I'm sure that Bill Clinton did that too. Don't think they'd want to do that in modern Metro D.C. So we're hoping, of course, that the staffer recovers. I don't think that they've named who the staffer is particularly. It could have been that someone was lying in wait for them. Rand Paul has been himself, by the way, subject to political violence on several occasions. You'll remember that people, I think it was after the Kavanaugh nomination, people were jostling him and his wife and throwing shit at him. Then he had that neighbor that attacked him at one point, and I'm still not 100% sure what the fuck happened there. This happens quite commonly. We're beginning to see more violence towards political figures. You'll notice that most of that didn't happen at J6. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, so we're hoping that he recovers. I would like to point this out. Regardless of whether this is a politically motivated attack or not, it is kind of still the fault of the policies of the current administration, especially when you're talking about D.C., the federal district. We're seeing crime in the United States skyrocket right now. Violent crime, certain property crimes, etc. And that has led to a situation where it's plausible enough to assume that even though a fairly high-ranking senator's staffer is the victim, it could literally have just been a random attack. It could have been someone just tweaking out. Somebody took too much methamphetamine, tweaked out, and stabbed somebody. Stabbed the first person they saw when they waddled out from the alley with their pants halfway down their ankles. Apparently the attack completely unprovoked. They have, by the way, actually a potential perpetrator. Glynnneal is the name of this individual. No further information. I don't even think that there's a mugshot available of this person yet, so we'll wait and see. We might find that they had, Antifa posts on the net, or we might find that they had a bunch of posts about their methamphetamine crystal collection. Wow, this crystal looks extra pretty. I think I'll wait on smoking this one until I have a dry day, because I bet I'll get extra balls to the wall high off this guy. Wish I could say I was being facetious. Have you seen the rise in violent crime in metropolitan zones in the United States over the last few years? Doesn't even start just with Biden. The states led the way with their lax on crime policies. I like it how Joe comes out now and he pretends to care about the issue. It's sort of like when he's trying to make tweets insinuating that the GOP wants to unprotect the border. It's the ultimate form of switcheroo gaslighting I think that I've ever seen in modern politics. I can't think of a single example more disingenuous than that one. Can't wait, because they've also spent the last year pretending that the GOP is soft on crime. Some people are living in topsy-turvy world. I'm not exactly sure what they're getting up to, but whatever it is, it's not coming from the realm of sanity. Maybe from behind the looking glass or something like that. I guess the Cheshire Cat is the one designing the Democrats' foreign policy as well at this point. Anyway, we will be probably talking about this later, and my hope is that we get a little more of an update, like a picture of Glynnneal, the name of the staffer. Is there any presumptive, speculative motive, according to the D.C. police, over the next few hours before I go live later? We'll have to wait and see whether that happens. That process can be either very, very quick or very, very slow. Sometimes it depends on social media footprints. Of course, internet sleuths will go through, and they'll cherry pick usually through any internet history from a person who's committed a crime of any type. And they'll fixate on things that go along with their narrative. It sort of dovetails into the Nashville shooting video that I made earlier this morning. It's the same fucking principle. Oh, it was Rand Paul's staffer. Clearly it was politically motivated. It could have been a jilted ex. No, maybe he was gay or something. It could have been someone who was jelly of his position, someone who wanted that same position. There are other explanations. It could have been methamphetamine. Meth is a hell of a drug. Just keep that in mind. Usually is fucking meth. Meth or crack, I suppose. When you're on fentanyl, at some point you get too disheveled in order to move. You know, if you can barely sit up for 10 seconds at a time, it's kind of hard to stab somebody to death. But again, no updates on their condition either. Last I knew, it was stabbed with life-threatening injuries, so probably critical or serious condition, so that's not necessarily always a good thing. Link in the description, by the way, archived, of course, to what little info we have on the story. Again, other than it's Rand Paul's staffer. I note that there aren't a bunch of people calling for more knife control in the United States. Save a life, bend that knife, bro. You know, I notice that is entirely absent from these things. Although if the liberals got their way and all the guns were effectively banned, I guarantee that they would start in on bladed weapons. Well, nobody really needs a machete unless you happen to be clearing brush, so we're going to have a machete rental service run by the government with a registry. You have to give a good reason why you've got that machete, and we're not going to make it too sharp either, and if we find you with a knife sharpener, oh Lord, you're in on felony weapons charges, because clearly you're going to go and murder a bunch of Tutsi or something like that. That's about all. Peace out.